morning, BWCC family. We want to welcome you this morning here at our sanctuary at the church. But God's blessing was on Jacob. Soon Jacob had 12 children. He ended up having 12 children. In his business, he prospered in every way. And Laban became jealous because God was blessing Jacob. Because Jacob was living a pleasing and righteous life, being God first type of individual before the Lord. So therefore, God was blessing him left and right, not only with children, but also with his business and his and his property. So according to this, in his business, he prospered. God prospered Jacob in every way. Laban became jealous, distrust, resentment, and anger were starting to grow and infect the relationship. An argument, a disagreement is never good. Amen? And we can all identify with that. Every time we have a problem within our relationships, within our marriage, within our homes, within our own family, it's never an easy thing to go through. It's the hardest thing to go through. Amen? And many of you, I can see you're nodding your heads and you're agreeing with me because you can identify and you have gone through the similar situations. So let's look at what happened. Finally, Laban and Jacob, they gathered stones, not to throw at each other. Okay? When they were gathering stones, not to throw at each other, because even though they were in disagreements and they were fighting with one another, but in order to build a memorial. They gathered the stones, the rocks, in order to build a memorial. They couldn't even agree on its name. Believe it or not, when they're trying to gather the stones and the rocks in order to build a memorial unto the Lord or to their agreement, they couldn't think of a name. They still disagreed. Jacob called this memorial Mizpah or watchtower. Mizpah means watchtower. Here, they agreed to disagree and to submit to God together. Okay? Why did they agree to disagree? And they decided to submit themselves unto the Lord. And oftentimes, if we can't settle any kind of conflicts within us or between the church, between the homes, between the marriages, we need to make a decision that we are going to agree to disagree for the sake of having peace. For the sake of having shalom. Amen? So, the reason that Laban and Jacob decided to agree to disagree because the fear of displeasing God became bigger than their disagreements with one another. Did you get that? Their fear of displeasing the Lord by being bitter with one another was far more greater than their disagreements. And I wish and I pray that we could all be the same. Because if we have the same exact mindset that way, with Laban and Jacob, we would have shalom all the time. In our homes, in our businesses, in our relationships, in our church ministries. Amen? The fear of God should be a lot more higher and more important than whatever it is that you and I are disagreeing with. We should have the fear of the Lord. And this is the reason why they drew a line saying that their anger would go no farther, and that they let the Lord watch between them. Finally, they celebrated with a feast and departed in peace.